Hi everybody, my name is Doug Dammann. I work here at the Civil War Museum in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Today we're coming to you from our collection storage area. I thought we could implement something new with the museums being closed, unfortunately, with the coronavirus outbreak. Something to stay in touch with our visitors, our patrons, our members, to give you a look behind the scenes a little bit at the collection storage facility, and also bring out a few artifacts that don't normally get exhibited. And we could talk about them and bring forth some of the interesting things about them, but then also how they relate to life today. So the things I pulled are some really valuable primary resources from our collection. And I think one of the reasons why, or really two of the reasons why people still study the American Civil War today and get excited about it are these primary sources that are available to us in the form of either written accounts, letters, diaries, or poetry, which we have here, or a photographic record of who these people were. They left a photographic record. We know that photography was invented in 1839. It was widely available to both civilians and soldiers during the Civil War, and people took advantage of it. So let's talk about what we have here on the table and then bring it into today's conversation and how it relates to us today. So a couple of the items here we have relate to a woman named Myra Vaughan. Now, Myra Vaughan in 1861 was a 21-year-old school teacher living in upstate New York. And we have in our collection two pieces from Myra. One is a pocket diary in which she wrote down her recollections day to day. You can see that each two pages are split into, there's 3 days on each page. And Myra wrote down in very small handwriting what exactly she was up to on that particular week. And you can imagine in 1861, with the start of the Civil War, there's a lot of rich content in there, and her reactions to the start of the war, some of her family members leaving home to serve in different New York regiments. So that's a great primary resource for us on the civilian side of things. She also left behind, at that same time, groupings of poetry, ways in which she was expressing herself about what was going on in the world. So she leaves these two great and beautiful written resources, her reactions, her responses to these historic events that were going on in the country at that time. Her brother was named William Vaughan, and William ended up serving with the 8th New York Cavalry. William also kept a beautiful written record of his service in the form of another pocket diary. You can see again, it's split into 6 days. There are 3 days on each side of the diary. And William is leaving an account of where he was and what the regiment was up to on a daily basis. So we have these wonderful accounts of this brother and sister combination from upstate New York. Now, the third person involved in the story is Myra's eventual husband, Thomas Dawson. We have two images of Thomas here on the table. Those are both post-war images of Thomas. He ended up serving in the 160th New York Infantry. And after the war was over, he and Myra were married. They ended up moving to Lansing, Michigan, then ultimately to Chicago. So that brings their story full circle to the upper Midwest. So amongst this grouping, we have these wonderful accounts of people's thoughts and actions and what was going on during the American Civil War. This is the kind of material that we as historians rely on so much for knowing exactly what was happening on the civilian side, and so much of what is written about with the story comes from these primary sources. Which brings us to today. I was talking to a good teacher friend of mine the other day, and he was encouraging his students to not only keep track of how the coronavirus has altered their daily lives, not going to school anymore, how they're reacting to it, what sort of projects they're working on, but he's encouraging them to write all this down, keep an archive of it. They're doing a Google Doc as a class where they're all sending their writings and some of their images. They're actually taking images of themselves at home. Maybe some of the home classrooms are setting up so that they have this archive and this record of what is going on in their lives in 2020, so that maybe that could be interpreted 100 years from now. Other students studying this era in American history would have these primary sources that are being created by these students today for the future. So maybe if you're at home, I would encourage you to do the same. Keep a written record. How has your life changed? What's going on in the country? Keep that diary. Maybe go either do it electronically or buy yourself a notebook and write everything down. Keep an archive of photographs, how it's affecting you, your family, your life. It's going to be important, and people are going to want to know in the future how this affected us going forward. So thanks. This is something, again, we'll be back to you from the collection storage in the vault here at the Civil War Museum going forward. Everybody take care and have a great day.